It isn't just Tom Hiddleston's charm that's carrying the second season premiere of Loki, though it does help. But there are also some powerhouse lines of dialogue that help viewers make sense of all the time-bending developments. Warning, spoilers for the second season premiere of Loki ahead. The Norse god of mischief is back for another season of the Disney Plus Marvel original series Loki. Following the events of Season 1, Hiddleston's Loki and Sophia Martino's Sylvie are no longer on speaking terms. The Kang variant He Who Remains, who, like all other Kangs, is played by Jonathan Majors, is just decaying remains at the end of time. The Time Variance Authority now knows that every single one of its agents was hired through kidnapping, memory wiping, and brainwashing. With the TVA's power structure in shambles, it's up to the Trickster God and his assortment of allies to prevent both the TVA and Time itself from unraveling into total oblivion. Much like the temporal loom, Loki Season 2, even in just the first episode, gets convoluted. It's tasked with weaving an incredible amount of information into something digestible and concrete. And much like the temporal loom, it struggles to handle the increased narrative load. But even in the midst of confusion, the writing staff manages to deliver some memorable lines of dialogue that remind audiences while they keep tuning in. For one,
all my life, I've always handed down the same verdict, guilty, and the timekeepers deemed it so.
At its core, Loki Season 2 questions the reach of authority. Is it right or even helpful for the TVA to prune branched timelines, essentially committing genocide, all in the name of protecting the sacred timeline? Is it right or even helpful for someone to do the same to the TVA? And are such decisions not an act of playing God? Hunter B-15, played by Wunmi Mosaku, certainly thinks so, pleading with her superiors in a meeting with the Judges' Council to put a pause on pruning. Her words fall on some deaf ears, but they're a much-needed wake-up call for others. Judge Gamble takes the revelation of her origin as a stolen variant hard, realizing that she's condemned other variants to death for falling outside of the same parameters she does. When the judge makes her statement, audiences understand that she's broken free from her brainwashing. And it's that clarity that means so much more because Judge Gamble can so easily be swapped out with a number of real-life authority figures. Everyone watching Loki Season 2 can conjure up some leader, whether political, religious, or corporate, who could do with a similar reality check. The idea of a power figure realizing the ramifications of their actions is so idealistic that it's almost too fantastical, even for Marvel. But only time will tell if Judge Gamble follows through on her new worldview. Later in the episode, after a particularly confusing conversation about time-slipping between Owen Wilson's Mobius and TVA tech guy Ouroboros, nicknamed OB, and played by Ke Huy Quan, the latter says,
"Wow. That makes perfect sense. There's no flaw in that logic."
OB's demeanor is so pure, his tone so genuine, and his smile so friendly that it's almost impossible to criticize him for being the mouthpiece of a seemingly self-aware production team. Yes, the line is funny because Quan is funny, but it's also funny because it's so obviously a moment of lampshading, or calling attention to something confusing and then just moving on. While lampshading can be used to great effect in the form of meta jokes, it can be used to bypass necessary narrative explanations. With this line coming so early in the season, it feels as though Marvel Studios is plainly informing audiences that critical analysis will not be tolerated. And that's frustrating because, again, it's coming out of Quan's mouth, an objectively talented and funny guy. How dare Loki make us feel conflicted emotions about that man? We'd better move on before we get too worked up. After killing Kang variant He Who Remains, Sylvie lands in Broxton, Oklahoma, in a branched timeline. A McDonald's employee asks her what she'd like to eat. She answers,
"Not squirrel, not possum, not rats. Something that's already dead and nothing with a face. Please."
The best part is that she delivers this list with practiced ease, as if she's rattled it off 100 times before in 100 different places, leaving audiences wondering whether variants of McDonald's serve living rodents and how often she's been offered food with a face still attached. It's silly, gross writing, the kind that fits perfectly in a superhero TV series. But it's also smart, because no one hears Sylvie recite these boundaries without immediately knowing that somewhere, somewhen, she's experienced a few of these situations. Of course, that's down to the acting too. Sophia DiMartino appears tired and resigned here, all except for when she remembers to punctuate her request with a "please." And that raises more questions. Why does she make sure to ask politely? What happened when she didn't?